Does Norman Reedus is gay? Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. Yes. You know, it might be just me, but I'm still hella on board that hype train from Helluva Boss episode 5. Am I wrong in thinking that that's still right at the front of my mind?
Did you just say hella on board?
I did.
Oh, but no, I totally agree. I'm on that hype train too, man. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but fuck me, it's a great show. This episode specifically, I feel, was just a pinnacle of greatness. I mean, from seeing Millie's mom.
My eyes are still blessed to this day.
Getting to see Millie's parents, meeting her whole family, going to see the Wrath Ring, and just like seeing a different part of hell was pretty neat. Getting to see Stolas's Harvest Moon festival thing that he has to do, which has been mentioned but never shown. So that was pretty neat too. Mm-hmm. But I think what really was the crown jewel of this episode was the main antagonist, Stryker.
Oh,
God, what a great villain to really get things moving in this show.
And I must say, it is so awesome to see such a morally gray show that takes place in hell, you know, where everybody is either a Hitler or an Epstein. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome to see them just unapologetically go forward with this guy is bad. He is the villain. Nobody's contesting that. And it's just so cool to see them taking all that moral grayness and putting it into somebody who's just so ruthless and just absolutely does not care about you or your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Which brings us to what makes Stryker such a great villain.
He said it! I think aside from that, the thing that makes Stryker so dope, just as a villain, and what really makes him tie this whole thing together is the way that he relates to each of our leading men in IMP in just a unique way that really challenges them as people, which we've talked about quite a bit in terms of Blitz in our last video on this episode. But he also does it for Moxie as well. And it's fucking awesome to finally see an imp who is in every way just superior in the same way that Blitz is. Like, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's more capable. Both of them win the festival just by being the better badasses. And it's awesome to see somebody who parallels Blitz's sort of mindset of being a go-getter and a doer and self-sustaining, but is just unapologetically fucking evil. And then you go and you look at like Moxie, and you can clearly see where that's the exact opposite of the timid, kind of scrawny, nerdy, moral one. And I think it's really cool for Moxie in particular, just because it highlights how different he and his boss are in that way, which is being presented through the filter of another character who just happens to share a lot of traits.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me, the contrast between Moxie and Stryker. And as you said, sort of Moxie and Blitz to a certain extent. But what I really love about the contrast between Moxie and Stryker is that they're, like, Stryker isn't immediately shown as, hey, idiot, this is the antagonist. Or I shouldn't say that, because he's pretty antagonistic from the beginning. But it's not like, hey, this is going to be the major bad guy. Because throughout the episode, he's seen as sort of the just douchebag jock of the episode. And throughout the season, we've seen this typical... It's usually shown through Blitz's exes.
Yeah.
They're sort of just the asshole of the episode, and you're just like, oh, fuck this guy, or fuck this, succubus, or,
I absolutely would, without a second thought.
Oh! that'll be our third video, how fucking horny Mitch is for Asuka. But yeah, so you don't see him as like he is going to become a recurring character that will then pose serious issues and moral dilemmas for characters. But that's what he ends up becoming. Let me ask you, Mitch, what makes a great villain? He's seen in the beginning as trustworthy. He's got great charisma. He comes off as capable to me and to the audience. and to Millie's family.
Which I must cut in real quick just to say it's so funny to me. Like, I knew that they were going to take this angle, but it's still so funny to me that the guy that they hired to help out on the farm like a week ago is is more liked by the family than their daughter's husband.
Yeah, which really fits that mold of somebody who is good at manipulation, somebody who is good at not showing their true colors until they deem it necessary. So, you know, I find that to be a really striking point. You know that he's sort of the douchebag, and you want to root for Moxie, but you also kind of like him. He's just a fun character. He definitely has the charisma down, which makes for a great assassin, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in this kind of situation where he's in close quarters with people who are close to the target.
And that's the kind of thing that you want in your villain. Like, you want him to be likable, but you also want the threat to be credible. You want him to be a little bit even mysterious in a way. And I think it's really cool that they did all that while also making him personal to our main characters. You know, we did an entire video on why he's so personal to Blitz in just that one scene where he really challenges his morals, and he's kind of more like, be like me, be a dick and get what you want. But he also, in a weird sort of way, kind of just is a lesson for Moxie and sticking to your guns. Like, do what you're good at. Don't try to be like the big beefy jock guy. And also trust your instincts, you know, don't believe that somebody has everyone's best intentions at heart just because a lot of people like them. Again, as the very moral guy living in a realm full of immoral guys, I think that reinforces what's kind of been Mox's conflict throughout the series.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Tying it back to a whole bunch of different things that Moxie's been learning throughout the show.
The series just keeps building upon itself, and it still amazes me that even, you know, like 5 episodes in of this haha funny, it's comedy, don't take it seriously, but actually, here's a consistent through line that we just keep getting with these characters, and it's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah, it's like he challenges these boys in a way that really hits them where it hurts. That makes for a stellar overall antagonist that we want more of. And it seems that we will get more of him. A quick side note, another reason that I want to at least hear more of him is because of the choice of who they chose to play him. Norman Reedus? You kidding me?
An absolute miraculous alignment of the stars occurred that night when they said, who do we want to be our villain? Let's make it fucking... I was going to say his name, but I don't know the name of the guy from...
Daryl Dixon!
That's the one! And that is a good fucking deal right there. Just to show how far the show is coming along. I do like that a lot.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've loved Norman since The Boondock Saints, which is one of my favorite movies. What I loved about it is that I didn't know it was him. If you go and watch our reaction video, it didn't click to me that it was Norman Reedus until, like, the very, very end of the video.
That's a good plug, and, by the way.
At the very end, it just sounded like him. Mm-hmm. For the most part, he just pretty much did like a Daryl Dixon voice. It didn't take me out of the character that he was playing. He did very well to make Stryker his own while still using a voice that is recognizable to his other characters.
Yeah. I think we're ignoring the elephant in the room. I think we have to just touch on how fucking hot it is that we have just these two burly imp men who are both like these rugged fucking killers just flirting with each other throughout the entire episode. I think this is an extremely important point, and I will not hear otherwise about it. This is exactly what I feel like this is what, like, the audience wants. You know, we've been getting a little bit of that with Luna. We got a little bit of it with Veronica. But now we're getting it with our main character and a primary antagonist. And it just feels so cathartic to have in this show.
Well, I mean, that brings me to my next point. His clap. What I find to be one of his strongest qualities is his commitment to his cause. That his number one priority is the task in front of him. throughout this whole charade that he's done, he's always maintained what he was hired to do. And to even fight off like 3 of the strongest imps that we've met so far as other trained killers, he's pretty damn good at his job. As a villain, I think it's also very important that there is a lot of practical hands-on experience and a great physical presence.
And that's the thing with him that really gets me at the end of this episode is there's a lot that we don't know about him that we could find out through seeing more of him, or we could not. Because like you said, like he's real committed to just doing what's best for him, which is, money. But at the end of the day, I think it's especially cool because like we mentioned in the last video with Blitz and the way that the writers kind of mask what he's thinking behind the goofball facade that only comes down very occasionally, we never really get an insight into Stryker. He's always playing a part. Either he's the new ranch hand that everybody loves, or he's, like flirting with Blitz, or he's the villain of the episode who's the assassin. We don't get any insight into what he's thinking at all. So we don't even know, what does he care about? Is he doing it for money? Is he doing it because he has beef with the hierarchy? Does he have another reason? We don't get to find that out. And I think that's what, above all, really makes him stand out. We don't get to see his side of the story because this isn't his story. But goddamn, he sure is making it feel like it is sometimes.
I couldn't agree more, Mitch. What could be a possible ending gag for this episode?